Friends, I welcome you all to our today's session. Let us continue our discussion on formation of company. Two sessions are already over on company formation. Many things, almost most of the things of formation we have already understood. The basic things that meaning what are the documents required and what is the step-by-step process. All these things we have understood. And we also know this formation or when we apply for registration, this is done electronically. That also we have understood. And for that thing, we will be needing digital signature certificate and the promoters, the directors need to have one directors identification number. These concepts you have already understood. Yeah, some related sections we are going to learn today. Let me share the screen with you right now. Last session we are learning about section 7, which section 3 we have already covered. Section 3 and 7, both the provisions we are learning. Section 7 mostly deals with the formation process. Just give me one moment. Before that, let me once again show you this chart. That formation of the company dealt with section 3. We have already covered this thing. And section 7 also deals with about formation company process. Okay, those things you'll be learning. So today we'll be learning section 9, that is effective registration. We'll be also learning this aspect that is the process of formation of a charitable company. Section 8 also will be learning. Section 8 and 9 we plan to learn today. And section 4, 5, etc., which deals with memorandum. Now we know that is a document which is required at the time of formation, memorandum and articles. But we'll be learning that in detail in your subsequent session. Maybe next session we'll be starting with memorandum of association. But today we'll continue with this registration process or incorporation process. This we are learning in the previous class, section 7, that various documents need to be filed with registrar of companies and also declarations are required. All these things we have learned. And this is the registration certificate. We had seen it. And once a company is registered, the registrar allows a number which is called as, can anyone tell me what is that number? That unique number. Each company has that number. That number is called as, can anyone tell me?
CIN.
CIN, SIN. That is popularly called as SIN, CIN. That stands for corporate identity number. It's a distinct identity. You can find out SIN from MCA website. You already know how to find out SIN. Earlier I had shown it. Have you remembered how to search SIN of a particular company? Once you find the SIN, then you will be able to find the master data. Most of the data regarding the company you can find out from the MCA website. Okay, have you remembered that process? Yes or no? Yeah. Now,
Yes, sir.
yeah. Previous class we are also discussing this thing, that in what will happen in case a person furnishes false or incorrect particulars, or let us say fake documents, and by using those documents, if the company is registered, then what is the consequence? That is what we are going to learn today, and because that is also equally important. So this subsection 5 of section 7 talks about that. If a person furnishes any false or incorrect particulars of any information, or surfaces any material information of which he is aware, uh, in any of the documents filed with the register in relation to the registration of the company, he shall be liable for action under section 447. So this section only talks about that in case some person does so, let us say he furnishes some incorrect particulars, false particulars, or purposefully he suppresses some information, and that information is material, important information he is suppressing, then what will happen? He will be facing the liability which is provided under section 447. So what is the penal consequences? We'll be learning To understand that thing, we need to move to section 447, which I'll be showing you shortly. Then subsection 6 of section 7, which again deals with incorporation company, talks about that if the company has somehow got incorporated by making use of that false or incorrect information, or maybe some incorrect representation, or suppression of material facts, by using all these things, let us say some companies incorporated, what will happen after that? Or maybe by fraudulent action of the promotion, somehow companies incorporated. Then the persons making declaration. Okay, the past directors, one thing is the past directors of the company and the persons making declaration. You know, you have already seen in a memorandum in that application that all the past directors were signing by using the digital signature, and when professional was also giving declaration, is it not? So all these persons, if you read the subsection, the past directors and the persons making declaration under clause B of subsection 1 shall be liable for action under section 447. These persons will be liable for action under section 447. Okay, here it talks about if the person furnishes false information, anybody who is furnishing false information, he is liable under section 447. This is subsection 5. And subsection 6 talks about the past directors and the person who has given declaration. He is also liable under section 447. Are you able to understand the difference between subsection 6 and subsection 5? They're two different things. Okay, are you getting it?
Sir, the difference I didn't get, sir. The first director and rest others would be coming under punishment. That is 447. So
Yes.
the difference exactly, I didn't get that, sir.
Section 5 talks about if any person has given any false direct, let us say false or incorrect particulars, that means that any person need not be a director. He may be promoter, but he need not be a director. If that person gives false information, then he is liable for penalty under section 447. And this subsection 6 talks specifically the first directors of the company and the persons who are giving declaration, they are liable under section 447. That's the difference.
Yes, sir. Got it. Got it, sir. Got it.
Now, subsection 7 of section 7 talks about few more things, that in that situation what can happen. This particular provision talks about if the company has got incorporated by furnishing false or incorrect representation, incorrect information or representation, or by suppressing material fact. That means in this kind of situation what can happen, the tribunal means National Company Law Tribunal, may on an application made to it or being satisfied that the situation so warrants, it can pass some orders. That means NCLT, which stands for National Company Law Tribunal, it can pass these orders. What is this order? Order as may think fit. That means regarding for this thing, order may contain order may be there to for a changes in the memorandum or articles. That means tribunal may say that your memorandum article should be changed, or direct that the liability of the members shall be limited or shall be unlimited. Tribunal also give direction, but even if it is a company, but the members' liability will be unlimited because this company has been incorporated by using false or incorrect information. Or direct removal of the name of the company from the register of the company. That means tribunal may give direction that your name from the register will be removed. That means you will no more be considered as a registered company. Or pass an order for winding up of the company. That order also can be passed. Or such order as may think fit. So these are the orders the tribunal may pass. If I summarize all these possibilities, so this chart explains that thing. Tribunal may order one of the following. First of all, name removal, winding up, unlimited liability, change in memorandum of association, articles of association, or any order, whatever it may think fit, may levy penalty or whatever it may think fit. These are the orders can be passed. Okay. First of all, penalty, to any person. Second is penalty on the first directors and the person who has given declaration. Third thing is that tribunal may pass these types of orders. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But before passing that order, one more provision is there. Let me go back to that subsection. Here it says, tribunal can pass that order, but tribunals must give a reasonable opportunity of being heard. That means tribunal must give a notice to the company, and company may attend a hearing. So after being heard, the tribunals are take into consideration the transaction, considering the situation. After that, only tribunal will pass an order. So without giving hearing to the company, without giving an opportunity of being heard to the company, tribunal cannot pass an order. Okay, so this is the power in case a company is, let us say, um, incorporated by using false documents. Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Now, so many places we have seen the punishment which is provided under section 447. You see, 447 is referred to in many sections of the Companies Act. Instead of saying this is the penalty, these sections refer that for this kind of fraud or this kind of mistakes, penalty is provided under section 447. So 447 is a very important provision. So we need to learn what can be the possible consequence of registering a company in a fraudulent manner. Now, please, you can read this particular provision. Okay. First of all, I will say, first I will draw your attention to this fonts which are in red color. It's a not less than 6 months, which may extend to 10 years. That means there is a possibility of imprisonment up to from 6 months to 10 years. That possibility is also there, and shall also be liable to a fine which shall not be less than amount involved. Suppose if it is some other kind of fraud, that means some financial fraud, then penalty will also be there, not less than the amount involved, but which may exceed 3 times of the amount involved. Suppose it's a financial fraud, then the penalty or the fine may go up to 3 times of the amount involved. So these are the consequences if you do some kind of fraud under companies law. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you read the section, it says without prejudice to the liability, including repayment of debt under the Act or any other law for the time being in force, any person who is found to be guilty of fraud shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 6 months, but which may extend up to 10 years, and shall also be liable for a penalty. Right? And one more thing, if the fraud uh, involves or the fraud where the fraud in the question involves public interest. Suppose public interest is affected, the term of imprisonment shall not be less than 3 years. That means minimum imprisonment if public interest is involved is how many years? 3 years. 3 years one has to go behind the bars. That's the punishment. Therefore, while incorporating a company, one need to be extremely careful. Okay, the document should be genuine document. Whatever document we are giving, that should be genuine document. Okay.
Sir?
Yes, please.
Sir, then these 3 persons like Mehul Choksi, Vijay Mallya, Nirav Modi. So the amount is under fraud and all that. Now they would be paying 3 times of that, sir.
You see, if the fraud is under company's law, then this is the penalty. Okay, if public interest is involved and this fraud is under company law, then these penalties are levied. And this will be convicted of an offense. After conviction only, one can conclude that fraud is involved or not. Okay. Fraud may be under various laws, not necessarily under company law. Fraud might be under Banking Regulation Act. Fraud might be under, let us say, Income Tax Act. Okay. Fraud might be maybe under Customs Act. Is it not?
Yes, sir.
But
Yes,
if
sir.
it is a fraud relating to or involving company law, then this is the penalty. This act will be talking about company law fraud. Okay, let us say that person has committed fraud under Banking Regulation Act, then he will be getting punishment under that law. Companies Act cannot go for any penalty for
Fine,
that.
sir. Got it. Got it.
Sometimes it may happen that one may be punished under multiple acts because it may be a fraud under Companies Act, it may be a fraud under Banking Regulation Act, it might be fraud under Negotiable Instrument Act. Under so many acts, there is a fraud. So each one has to, let us say, face the consequences under each law separately.
Fine, sir. Got it.
Okay, got it. Now, friends, there is one more section which also talks about incorporation, but this is incorporation of a company with charitable object. We have discussed in detail what is a Section 8 company. You already know. Let me just remind you. The Section 8 company is a company which is not for profit. And you already know three things are important for this kind of company. First of all, the object of the company. That means if you will be learning it, every memorandum of association has got a clause which is called as object clause. That means the company is incorporated for that purpose. That is the object of the company. And the object of this company should be promotion of commerce, arts, science, sports, education, research, charity, social welfare, religion, etc. Okay, protection of environment, etc. That is one element. Then, if the company earns any profit, then that profit shall also be used for promotion of its objects only, not for any other purpose. Third thing is that this company cannot distribute any dividend. Dividend distribution is prohibited. If these things are there, then company can be incorporated as a Section 8 company. That's a different provision. Okay, section. We also had that thing earlier. Okay.
Yes, sir. Because it's not a profiting company, so they can, share the debenture and all. Because it's not a profit-making company, sir.
It's not a profit-making company. Therefore, dividend cannot be distributed. Now, at this stage, if we summarize the steps that we have learned, first of all, first one is this thing. The process, if you see, first one may ascertain the name or ascertain what is the proposed name of the company. Next step is that application of license that is not applicable. Okay, but if a Section 8 company, central government has got power, it may give permission to a Section 8 company that they can still operate without using the name limited or private limited. That's possible. For that thing, central government approval is required. Central government will give the license, otherwise that's not required. If the company is a listed company, then SEBI's approval is required for draft prospectus, meaning that company will go for public for invitation of shares, inviting subscription of shares. Then that is required. But the company that we are talking about, this is not relevant. What is relevant for us is that first of all, we'll check availability of the name. Then we need to print memorandum and articles of association. Okay. Then fixation of underwriters, brokers, solicitors, auditors, these are not required for this company unless company is a listed company. Okay, once memorandum articles of association is ready, then we can upload that documents with other documents. Documents has to be filed. Fees has to be paid electronically. Then you will be also getting online, you will be getting the certificate of incorporation. That's a simple process. Online, you will upload the documents. You will attach digital signature and you will be obtaining certificate of registration. Okay. At this stage, I think it will be better if you look at the form, how online form looks like. Would you like to see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, online form, I will be one downloaded empty form is there. I am trying to show you. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, I'm getting this SPICE e-form. Are you able to see the form? Are you seeing the form, or you are seeing a folder?
Sir, only folder. That specimen form is there, but the form exactly it's not appearing.
Okay, right. Just give me one more second. You see, these forms are popularly called as the SPICE form. Okay, SPICE e-form. Now you can see what is written here. Are you seeing it? SPICE. Okay. Are you able to see it now? Form?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you see SPICE stands for, can you read it here? What is written here?
Specified performer of incorporating company electronically. This is simplified.
Yes,
simplified.
Simplified performer for incorporating company electronically. Okay, this form needs to be used if you want to incorporate a company. Okay, and remember the form number is how much? The incorporation form starts with this code INC. This is popularly also, or professionals call it as INC 32. INC 32 has been filed, means for incorporation I have filed the document. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Are you getting? Now you see. This can be filled up in English or Hindi. You see, first is whether the name is already approved by register. You can tick yes or no. State the type of company, public, private, one-person company. You can write it here. State the category of the company. State the subcategory. Choice you can make it whether proposed company is in IFSC company. These are not applicable. No. Okay, having share capital or not. All these things you can fill up. Main division industry activity. Yeah, yes, please.
Sir, sorry for the interruption. Sir, category of company, what would come, sir?
Category and subcategory of company. I'll be showing you the list of category and subcategories later on, and you will be able to choose which category we are talking about. Okay. Oh, okay. Now, main division of industrial activity of the company. See whether articles of association is entrenched, all these things, right? Our correspondence address. Okay, name of the office of the register of the company. That means which ROC office this is going to be registered. Proposed or approved name, you have to give it. Then list of first subscribers. You see, having valid DIN or not. If they're not having valid DIN, that also one can write it there. Particulars of stamp duty, how it is paid, whether it is electronically paid or not. This has to be filled up. This form needs to be electronically filed while incorporating the company. Stamp duty, breakup. When you file it electronically, you will be able to understand all these things. Okay, additional information for applying PAN. So at the same time, when you are applying for registration of the company, you can also apply for permanent account number and also tax deduction account number. PAN and TAN can also be simultaneously applied. So after registration, income tax department will be automatically sending PAN and TAN if this information is given. Okay, if someone wants ESI registration also, then one can also apply in this form. If someone wants EPF registration, he can also apply for this form. That means at the time of registration, everything will be possible. All the registration will be possible. That's what we call it as ease of doing business. Separate registrations are not required. Okay. If you need IEC code, that is importer exporter code, that also one can apply it here. What are the investments in the company that you can write? After all these things, you see certain documents needs to be attached. Memorandum articles, memorandum of association needs to be attached. Articles of association needs to be attached. Then affidavit and declaration by the first subscribers and directors, that also needs to be attached. Okay. Then this declaration, who is giving declaration, he has to fill up his name. That has to be attached. Okay. Digital signature to be digital signed by the directors. Then certification of the professional. Professional will be attaching his signature. Okay. Finally, this has to be signed. Okay. You know who can give declaration? You see a chartered accountant, cost accountant, company secretary, or an advocate can give declaration. Their digital signature will be appearing here. After that, you can check the form, you can pre-scrutinize it, you can then after that you can submit it. Okay, you'll be getting an acknowledgement. Then register of the company will verify it, and if satisfied, it will alert you. It will get your company registered. This is the process. This form is a downloaded form. Okay, in the ROC MCA site, it is available. One can fill it up in order to get the company registered. Okay, understood up to this?
Yes, sir.
Now, friends, few other technical things. Let me explain you. Oh. Yeah, these are the documents which are required for incorporation of a company: memorandum, articles, consent of the directors, then registered office, then statutory declaration from an advocate, cost accountant, etc. With that, company incorporation can be completed. Now, quickly we'll be learning one more section. This is section 9, which talks about effect of registration. Once registration is completed, then company got incorporated. Company got incorporated from the date of incorporation mentioned in the registration certificate or in the certificate of incorporation. Right? Earlier I had shown you some certificate of incorporation. There is a date there. That is the date of incorporation. Okay. And from that date, the people who have subscribed the memorandum shall become the members of the company, and the company shall become a body corporate by the name contained in the memorandum. That means company, that is, you can say that is the birthday of the company. That's the date of birth of the company. And with that, company will be capable of exercising all the functions of an incorporated company and having perpetual successor. That means from that date, company will last forever. Okay. Earlier, there is a requirement, mandatory requirement, that each and every company should have a common seal, which I had shown you in initial classes. But subsequently, law has been amended. As of now, today, there is no requirement of common seal. It is optional. Company may have a common seal, company may not have a common seal. The company will be having power to acquire, hold, and dispose of property. That means property can be purchased in the company's own name. Company can himself pursue the property also. Both movable and immovable properties, tangible, intangible assets, all these things can be purchased and sold by the company. Company will also be capable to sue or be sued. Company can file a case against someone, and someone also can file a case against the company. These are, in fact, the effects of the company. Okay, the certificate of registration shows, or it gives a proof that company is duly registered and it is properly authorized to act as a registered company. The date born in the certificate is the date of birth of the company or date of incorporation of the company. And it also shows that all the requirements of the company formation are complied with. Okay, so these are, in fact, the basic things as regards to formation of the company. And one more thing, which I showed you. In fact, the incorporating company nowadays is possible through this SPICE e-form. INC 32, and also this Memorandum of Association and Articles of Association, that is EMOA and EAOA. They are provided in INC 33 form and INC 32 form. These two documents also can be prepared in electronic form. Okay, so I would like to show you that form also. MOA and AOA. Today I will give you briefly. I'll show you that form. Anyway, we are going to learn these two topics separately. Now let us have a look at Memorandum of Association. Okay, should we look at that?
Yes.
These two documents which needs to be attached. First, let me show you. I'm looking for EMOA. Yeah, here is one. INC 33. Yeah. Are you able to see it now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now you see, this is called as EMOA or E Memorandum of Association. Okay. You see, this document has to be electronically prepared. Main things we'll be learning later on in detail. Main things which is essential is that you see, first of all, it contains name. This is called the name clause, name of the company. It talks about registered. The second clause is called as registered office clause. You have to choose the state. Friends, please, those who are not participating, request you to mute yourself. Okay, Mr. Fratin, please mute yourself. Yeah, now you see. You have seen the name of the company, the registered office of the company, and objects of the company. We'll be learning all these things in detail. That is what the purpose of the company. Three things we have seen. So this object clause, in fact, has got two parts. You see A and B. One is called as the main object. Second is called as the objects which are incidental for attainment of the main object. We'll be learning that thing in detail. So these are the things. All of these things are object of the company. Company can do all this. Then you see there is a clause which is called the liability clause. You see the liability of the members is limited. Limited means it's limited, and this liability is limited to the unpaid amount, to the amount unpaid, if any, on the shares held by them. This concept we have already discussed. So there will be one clause called as liability clause. Then one more clause which is called as a capital clause. It will talk about what is the size of capital of this company. Right. After that, the people who have subscribed the memorandum, they will put their signature electronically. That has to be signed. Then that has to be certified by FMC. This is how EMOA looks like. Okay. Also, I will be showing you the EAOA. Just have a look. One second, let me open EAOA. That is Articles of Association. That is INC 34. Are you able to see it? INC 34. INC 33 was EMOA. Now this is EAOA. Okay. This is called as the Articles of Association. Okay. It talks about that company is a private company, restricts the right to transfer shares. The members of the company shall be limited to 200. Therefore, it is a private company. Okay, so you see these contents are there. Okay, these are how the internal affairs of the company will be managed. All these things are included. All these things are, let us say, drafted in this document called as articles of association. How share money will be collected, how meetings will be held, how shares will be transferred from one person to another person, how shares will be transmitted in the event of death of a shareholder. That is also discussed in this there. In which situation shares can be forfeited. That aspects are also discussed here. Then alteration of capital, how company share capital can be altered from one to another, how profit can be capitalized, how shares can be bought back, general meeting, how it can be conducted, proceedings of general meeting, adjournment of meeting, voting rights, proxy. That means if some person is not attending, how he can send a proxy. Then what will constitute the board of directors? Who are the first directors? You see, these people are the first directors. First directors of the company. 5 people are the first directors, you have already seen. So like this, all these clauses will be there. And this article says there will be a seal that this company has to maintain a common seal. This seal. Okay. There's a requirement that this company should have a common seal. How company can be can be closed, winding up process, how it can be followed. That has also been discussed. Okay. Finally, again, this form also is to be signed by the subscribers and also one professional who was certified, that was declared that all the requirements of the law have been complied with. So friends, these are 2 documents we have understood. That memorandum of association and articles of association needs to be electronically prepared and uploaded as the process of incorporation. And other documents, of course, like names, like let us say address proof, identity proof of the directors, declarations. Okay, so all these documents also needs to be uploaded. And names, everything is to be uploaded. Once that is done, then a registrar will scrutinize your filings, and on that basis, if satisfied, it will allot you a certificate of incorporation. And at the same time, if you have also applied, let us for PAN, TAN, PF registration, or ESI registration, all these all also in exporter importers code, you'll be getting all these things from different authorities. Okay, incorporation certificate will come, but all of these, all other things will be also coming to you. This is the process of registration or process of incorporation of the company. I think you have understood the concept thoroughly. Yes or no?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, so incorporation part is over. We'll stop here. We'll close our session here. If you have any query, you may feel free to ask me right now. Any query you have? Yeah, I guess there is no query. Thank you very, very much.